Toronto Raptors and the Charlotte Hornets here. The Raptors get a surprising victory in this one, considering the struggles that have happened this season for Toronto. They win 111-108, and they improve to 3-8 on the season, and the Hornets fall to 6-7 in the early going. For the Hornets, Bismack Biyombo, 10 points, 8 rebounds, and assists, 5 of 8 from the field. So Biyombo, he's just playing about 20-25 minutes a game here for this Hornet team, and he's not really putting up huge numbers. He started off good when he filled in for Zeller, who has the fractured hand, but Biyombo, he's just not producing much, and he's a guy only for deeper fantasy leagues. He's recommended it there. He's going to play, but there's many nights where he don't really fill up the stat sheet. P.J. Washington, he's been on a good roll this week. 20 points, 11 rebounds, and assists, a 7 from 14 from the field, and 1 for 3 from downtown. So it was good to see Washington have another good game in this one. He was drafted in the later rounds of fantasy drafts, and he's paying off for the most part. He's putting up stats, he's producing, and he's a good ball player, is Washington, and no one is a threat to his role on this Hornet team. So he's a guy you definitely ride out with here in your fantasy leagues and on your teams. Martin, he got the spot start for Gordon Hayward, and Hayward, I told you so. I hate to say it, but now the injuries are starting to catch up. He missed this ball game with a left hip strain, so we'll see how long he's out. And Martin, he didn't do much in the fill-in game here for Hayward. 5 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 of 7 from the field. So let's say Hayward's out a week or two or more. I still don't think Martin has enough fantasy value for 10 or 12 team leagues. Devonta Graham in this one struggling once again from the field. 5 of 15 from the field. 5 for 12 from 3. He finished with 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and Graham this season, he just hasn't got anything going in this season so far. His shooting percentage is low. His points per game are way down, and I think the addition of LaMelo Ball has definitely been a factor into Graham's struggles this season. Maybe he's pressing too hard, or maybe last season was just a fluky good year for him. But I don't know what it's been, but Graham, he's been struggling, and so far kind of a bust in fantasy basketball. Terry Rozier, he had a good one in this one. 22 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 10 of 16 from the field, and 2 of 4 from downtown. So Rozier, he's a good ball player. He's streaky, though, and we've seen times this year him explode and then him have horrible games. But right now, he's pretty much even-keeled the last few games as Rozier, and he's playing pretty decent for this Hornet team. So he's a guy I would just keep and see what he does for your roster. Miles Bridges, a mediocre line in this one. Him and Ball are the top 2 guys coming off the bench here for the Hornets. 28 minutes of play, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 7 from the field, and he added 2 threes and 3 attempts. So Bridges, 12-team leagues or deeper, he definitely should be owned. If you're in a shallow league and there's better options out there, I think I would drop Bridges because his ceiling ain't that high. He's not starting. He's coming off the bench, and there's a lot of options on this team and guys who are going to take more shot attempts than Bridges. Plus, he don't give you many other categories where he's great at. LaMelo Ball, pretty good game for him in this one. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, 6 of 14 from the field, and 2 for 5 from downtown. So Ball, he's doing it everything. He's getting 2 steals a game. His assist numbers have been pretty solid so far this season, and he's getting about 5 or 6 rebounds per game. So LaMelo Ball, he was a highly touted rookie, obviously, from overseas. And this guy, he looks like he's ready for the NBA game. The only thing he has to improve is on shooting the basketball. But as time goes on, I think he'll improve on that and he'll get better. And right now, he's helping fantasy owners with a top 50 ranking so far this season. Malik Monk, he got a surprising 22 minutes of play. And they needed some scoring off the bench here with Hayward out. And he had 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in 22 minutes, 3 of 6 shooting. So Monk, he was a highly touted prospect as well years ago coming out in the NBA draft, but he's been a bust so far. Maybe he could carve a rollout with Hayward out right now, but right now he's not a guy to look at in fantasy. Now to the Toronto side of things, Aaron Baines, he got a start, 7 minutes, 2 points, 1 rebound. The true centers on this Toronto Raptors offense and team, they don't have any fantasy values. Alex Len and Baines, so they should be on the wire. OG Abenubi, good ball game in this one. 13 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 4 for 9 from the field, and 2 for 4 from 3 for OG. So OG, he's been pretty decent this year. Toronto, they started him. They believe in him. And they gave him a little bit of an extension as well in the offseason. And so far, so good for Obanubi. But I'm not expecting a crazy breakout season for him. More numbers like this, mediocre to decent numbers, I think he could put up this season. But he's still the third or fourth scoring option on this Raptor team. Pascal Siakam, a decent game in this one. 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 of 15 from the field, and 2 for 6 from downtown. So Siakam, he's been pretty solid so far this season. Hopefully he learned his lesson not to walk off the court earlier than the game ends. But right here, it was a good game. You like to see it from Siakam, and hopefully he could build off it and his points per game could go back up in the next one. Fred VanVleet, his shooting percentage has dropped now in the last week or two, and his points per game as well. He's in a shooting slump. But I think VanVleet, he was shooting over his head anyway, and he's a 3-point jacker. Is VanVleet 15 shot attempts from deep in this one, and he went 5 for 15 from 3. He's throwing up a lot of threes and jump shots. It was good to see him have 8 assists in this one, but right now he's hurting your field goal percentage, and his points per game have dropped over the last week or two, and it don't surprise me. I don't think he was going to sustain 23, 24 points per game this season. Kyle Lowry, a great game for him in this one. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 12 assists, 6 of 10 from the field, and 4 for 5 from downtown for Lowry. So the veteran, the only concerning thing for me with him, he's playing big minutes, and I don't know if he's going to hold up with all that wear and tear on his body and under his belt over the years, but he's been good for fantasy owners. He went in the middle rounds of most drafts, and he's definitely playing up to that or even better than where he was drafted in most leagues. And Chris Booker, another huge game for him. 25 points, 10 boards, 2 assists, 8 of 12 from the field, and 2 for 4 from downtown. So Booker, he's been playing real good. He's a player I said to sell high, but right now, if you're not going to get great value for him, you obviously keep him because he's breaking out this season. Toronto believed in him. They gave him the contract extension, and he's paying big dividends for fantasy owners and the Raptors right now with these huge double-doubles and these big block games too that he's adding. Stanley Johnson, 20 minutes, 6 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. No way he's on the radar. No Norman Powell, he's been decent. He was a recommended ad this week, but right now his playing time has gone down the last few games. 11 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. So if you want to drop Powell for a better option, I wouldn't blame you because right now he's not playing as much as you thought he would. So that was the Charlotte Hornets at the Toronto Raptors fantasy basketball and NBA recap.